Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TCG University. Today, we are going to be going over my top 5 commanders from the newest Magic set, Theros Beyond Death. So, this is going to cover commanders in the context of both Commander and Brawl. So, before we're gonna launch right in, but before I can give you number 5, I had to do an honorable mention. I couldn't help it. There were I think 34 possible commanders in the new set. So there's a lot to whittle down. There's a lot of legendary creatures in Theros. So honorable mention is going to go to Siona, Captain of the Phileas. So Siona is a 2/2 for 1 white, 1 green, and 1. And when she enters the battlefield, you're going to look at the top 7 cards of your library and put an aura into your hand. And then in addition to that, whenever an aura gets attached to a creature you control, you get to put a 1/1 white soldier creature token into play. So the reason that she didn't make the full list is I just think her power level might be a little tiny bit on the lower end of things. She's an uncommon, so I think she's pushed as all get out for an uncommon, but I don't know if auras in green-white are necessarily the best option ever if you're going for power level, but 7 cards deep is pretty strong, and a continuous battlefield effect on an uncommon is... I don't think you can do much better for that. So I think there's definitely decks out there that she could easily helm. If you love enchantments, if you love green-white, if you love the kind of Jason the Argonauts / Wonder Woman Xena vibe that Wizards is clearly going for this card, I think she could be an awesome commander. So she didn't make the full list, but I think she's worth checking out. So give her a go. Coming in at number 5 is Dalekos, Crafter of Wonders. Dalekos is a 2/4 for 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 Merfolk Artificer. He's going to tap for 2 colorless mana. You can use that to cast artifacts or activate artifact abilities. And in addition to all of that, equipped creatures you control are going to have flying and haste. So players have been asking for more blue-red Artificer commanders. We got Joyra, Weatherlight Captain back in Dominaria, but this has definitely been a big ask, and I think this is a great way for Wizards to deliver. We're kind of riffing on the Daedalus myth, the Greek crafter who was involved in that unpleasant Icarus accident. But this is a really great card. Now, most equipment decks in Commander, normally they're white because most equipment support cards are white, so I think it's nice that we get a card that's going to care both about artifacts and equipments. There's all sorts of really great equipment that anyone's going to be running in Commander, your various swords of fire and ice, the like, swift foot boots and lightning greaves, things like that, so getting additional uses out of your equipment you're already running seems great, and there's a ton of additional equipment you could put in to power up your creatures. Little bit less of an option as a Brawl commander. Now, we do have some options. We have Embercleave, which is a powerhouse in Standard right now. We have the new Shadow Spear, which is really powerful, and I'm excited to be playing with that. But overall, I'm just excited that we have another Blue-Red Artificer commander and a commander that cares about equipment. Coming in at number 4 is Heliod Suncrowned. So Heliod is a 5/5 for 1 white and 2. He is indestructible, and he is only a creature if your devotion to white is 5 or greater. Whenever you gain life, you get to put a 1/1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control, and you can pay 1 white and 1 to give another target creature lifelink. The reason that Heliod is on this list is because mono white does not have enough good commanders. It is the weakest color in Commander, unfortunately. There's a number of reasons for that, but partially is that white is limited in its abilities to get card advantage, and unfortunately, Heliod's not going to give us card advantage, but he is going to give us a persistent path to victory and actually a nice combo kill. So it is hard to take out indestructible enchantments, so having your devotion not 5 is totally fine. When you're getting life gain triggers, you can be putting these counters on any of your creatures or on Heliod. Even though he's not a creature, you still get to stack him up because he's an enchantment. So you can live through board wipes. You could be playing board wipes. Heliod is going to stick around in most scenarios. He is going to give you strong creatures that can punch through and kill stuff. And like I said on that combo, with Walking Ballista, you can clear the whole table out if you can get a 2/2 Walking Ballista. That's a deck in Pioneer that we're going to see if that lasts at all. And I think overall he's a really strong commander. It's white suffers in Commander, and you need to be going pretty hard if you're going to be playing mono white, because you have a lot of things to make up for that the other colors get to take advantage of easier. So I really like the power level on Heliod. I'm excited to see white commanders branch out a little bit more in coming sets, but Wizards has said they're working on powering up white and commander, and I think this is a great example of why. If you're playing them in Brawl, we've got a couple of options for the Brawl deck. We have Queen Linden, who is going to be giving a lot of triggers to this one, Ajani's Pridemate, and we have Ajani Strength of the Pride, who can make additionals as Ajani's Pridemates and really take advantage of getting these extra counters and gaining all this life. Coming in at number 3 is Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. We've got a lot of text on this card. So Croxa is a 6/6 for 2, 1 black and 1 red. If Croxa entered the battlefield and didn't escape, then you sacrifice Croxa. We'll get to that in a second. But when Croxa enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card, and if they discarded a land card or were unable to discard a card, they're going to take 3 damage. And then we can escape Croxa from our graveyard back into play for 2 red, 2 black, and 5 cards. So first time out of the command zone, it's going to cost, we're going to sacrifice our commander, but then we get to keep playing our commander for 4 mana and 5 cards and keep making our opponents discard. I like the Titans a lot. We got 2 Titans in Theros. It would have been nice to see more. The reason that the green-blue Titan Uro is not on this list is I don't think Uro's is interesting. Honestly, I think we have enough green-blue commanders that draw cards and do other things. So that is why we have Croxa here. And I'm excited for this. Now, red and black obviously have other commanders that care about discard, but I think the repeated discard opens you up for a lot of interesting things. In Brawl, I think this is a very interesting commander, both one-on-one and multiplayer. Plays really nicely with Sir Conrad, which honestly probably goes in any list with Croxa, because Sir Conrad is awesome in discard-based decks. And yeah, I think this is a really exciting card. I think we're going to see a ton of the Titans in both Commander and Brawl, and I hope Wizard gives us more. There are more Titans from Theros, and so hopefully this is the beginning of a cycle, or at the very least more really cool characters. Coming in at the number 2 slot is Atreus, Oracle of Half-Truths. Atreus is a 3/2 for 1 blue, 1 black, and 2 with Menace. When Atreus enters the battlefield, a target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library, separates them into 2 piles, one face up and one face down. You get to pick a pile. That pile goes to your hand, and the other pile goes to your graveyard. I am super excited for this card. I think it's going to see play in Standard, and I think it's going to see a ton of play in Brawl and Commander. Fact or Fiction is an effect that people play a ton of in Commander. It's not only just a powerful effect to get you card advantage, it is a great tool for politics. So one of the fun things that not everyone might know about effects like Atreus and Fact or Fiction is that piles can have 0 cards in them. So let's say one of your opponents is doing way too good and you have some friends that are going to help you out. So you can say, hey, would you give me all 3 cards in the face down pile so I can get 3 more cards and my opponent won't know what I'm dealing with? So this is a great card to politic with. We're in blue and black, so we get to flicker this card and get tons of activations of this ability. We aren't going to just get it when it enters the battlefield. If we want to build our deck around it, we can do it with all sorts of flicker effects, Deadeye Navigator, anything like that. And we're in black, so even if our cards go to our graveyard, that's not a big deal. We can take advantage of that. We can get them back. We can reanimate them. I think this is a super cool card, and I am really excited to play with it. Even just playing with it, having an opponent make you choose, I think there's all sorts of interesting play lines and just good gameplay. I like the half of the piles being hidden. I think that's a new twist on this ability, and I'm super excited for this card. This is one of my favorite cards from the whole set, so this is one that I am really going to be looking out for. Coming in at number 1 is Perforce Bronze-Blooded. This is the card I am most excited from Theros. Perforce was my favorite god last time we were in Theros, and as anyone who plays Commander regularly can attest, Perforce sees a ton of play. So I love what Wizards did on this one. Instead of the go-wide strategy of the previous Perforce, we want to be playing huge, heavy hitters. What Perforce does is he is a 7/6 for 5, 1 red and 4. He is an indestructible enchantment creature, and he is only a creature if your devotion to red is 5 or more. That is not the part we care as much about, although a 7/6 for 5 isn't bad. What we care about is all our other creatures get haste, and then we can pay 1 red and 2 to put a red creature or an artifact creature from our hand into play, and we're going to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So we get to power out huge expensive creatures, and slam into our opponents. Now, our creatures are going to die at the end of the turn, but that's fine. We can take advantage of that. We can do all sorts of things. A personal favorite of mine is if our big, huge creature we put down is going to die, we can fling it at somebody. We can play a Helm of the Host and equip our Helm of the Host to our temporary creature and get a copy of it we get to keep. With Warstorm Surge, our creatures are going to do double duty, coming in and hitting everybody. This is a really exciting deck. You have to go pretty hard at people if you're going to try to kill a whole table. You've got to do 120 damage in most Commander games, and I think this is a card that's going to let you do it. Inferno Titan. I could go on and on about all of the sweet red cards that you could put in this deck, but I'm not going to go on and on about that now. I'm going to build this deck, and I'll tell you about it later. So Perforce is hands down the card I'm most excited for. I think this is a card we're going to see in Commander for a long time, and I think there's even enough really splashy cards in Brawl for this to be a fun Brawl deck as your Commander, or just in the 59. So Perforce is a super sweet card. I'm so glad we got to see new versions of our favorite gods in Theros, and I'm super excited to play with these cards. Thank you all very much. That is my top 5. If you have a top 5 favorite commanders from Theros, why don't you go ahead and throw them down in the comments below. If you have any thoughts or questions about mine, please feel free to ask. Check out our other top 5 videos on the channel. And thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and make sure to remember who you are. Have a good night.